velkommen tilbage. Vi sidder her ved PAYDAY 3, som jo er et spil, der snart udkommer lige om lidt, faktisk her i slutningen af september. Og vi sidder sammen med en af producerne, en lead producer på PAYDAY 3, Andreas. Hello Andreas, and thank you so much for letting us talk to you.
Thank you for being here.
It's great pleasure. So Jørgen, my friend over here, we talked about how should we start the interview. So
I think we already started before.
And he said, and he had this. So in Denmark, there is this thing called Olsen-Banden.
Olsen-Ligaen.
Olsen-Ligaen in Swedish.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jørgen, ask a dumb question.
Okay, so I have a dumb question. So there's. If you go to the Wikipedia page for PAYDAY 2, in the DLC, it states that there is a DLC mission which was inspired by the Olsen-Ligaen, where you have to like bomb to the sound of like a DJ concert. Is it true that it's inspired by Olsen-Ligaen or Olsen-Banden?
Well, I think PAYDAY in general, at least the wacky parts of it, has inspiration from Olsen-Ligaen. It's not the core inspiration of the game, right? But it has, like, there are influences from it here and there. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, and I want to say yes. But I also want to clarify that Heat is a bigger inspiration than the Olsen-Ligaen. Yeah, maybe we'll do PAYDAY, kids one day. Yeah.
Is that your inspiration? Heat and Olsen-Ligaen?
Again, like, I think if there's a list of 10 things, I think Olsen-Ligaen is at the bottom of the list. But it's there. And again, I'm not the creator of PAYDAY as a franchise, but I've been working on PAYDAY for 12 years. So at least for PAYDAY 3, I would say if we have movies as a reference, Heat obviously, the Dark Knight intro, and then movies like there is a part of heist movies that I think we haven't managed to capture in PAYDAY 1 and PAYDAY 2, which is what's happening in between you're infiltrating and before everything goes south, which is like negotiating with the police, using hostages and that. So
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about your journey into this franchise?
Oh, my personal one.
Your personal journey. Where did you start?
So I studied at a school in Stockholm named Future Games, and Almir, who is our global brand director and also sort of the face of PAYDAY. I call him Walking PAYDAY. He's the bearded man. If you're a PAYDAY fan, you know who he is.
Okay.
He was my mentor back then. Then he started as a producer on Overkill, which was the studio that brought us PAYDAY the Heist. Then he brought me in as a QA, so I was a QA tester.
So you worked your way up from the bottom.
Well, if you want to call it bottom.
QA testing, isn't that the bottom?
I don't know. Like it's.
We just talked to
depends on the country.
We just talked to the creative director of Lords of the Fallen, and he started the same way. He called it the button.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a common way to start.
Exactly. And it's one of the most important things about it.
I mean, they're gatekeepers. They're gatekeepers of the game, right? So I still have a lot of respect for QA. But I started off as a QA. It's a good way to get your foot into the industry because what you do is you report bugs, right? And you give feedback on the game, which means that you're talking to a lot of different people and disciplines. So it helps you to map out where you want to go. Then we started with PAYDAY 2. We launched that. I became a producer right after launch and then worked on that for a bunch of years. And now I'm on PAYDAY 3.
And it was with PAYDAY 2 things started to pick up, right?
Yeah. I mean, the launch of PAYDAY 2 was overwhelming. I mean, we were like 30 people working on that game. It was a passion project, and it just like, what the fuck happened? That was, it wasn't even built for live service, but now we've been in live ops for 10 years.
How big was the original team from PAYDAY? Do you know?
From PAYDAY 1? I think there were like 10 people.
Okay, because I remember the original PAYDAY game. It was on PlayStation Plus or something. And it was one of those games that just by the logo, you had to check it out because you're right. You said the Dark Knight inspiration. And there are these, at least at the start, GTA Online wasn't that big a thing, and heist, as far as I remember, you must correct me, but the heist things in GTA, it wasn't introduced yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you had yours, and then they came out with their kind of heist, and you did yours much better.
Thank you. I think they're two very different experiences. Like, people usually compare us to them, but
your own team did as well. My friend Nicolaj was in there, and he used the GTA as a reference.
Yeah. And I mean, we looked at that a lot for Payday 3 as well. I think GTA Online has a more handcrafted cinematic experience.
Of course, I'm talking about the heist in GTA.
Exactly. Yes, but even that, it has a slower pace. It's more about the escape than anything else, and like that's not something we want to go up against. Like, they are doing that part extremely well. I think what we are doing well is we're really trying to zoom in on everything that you're doing in the bank, as an example. Like, every interaction counts. You're stealing money bundles, you're grabbing people as human shields, you're shouting at them. So it really gives you that feeling of being there,
If you don't want to go up against GTA, and I understand, who do you want to go up against?
Ourselves. No, I mean,
you are a producer.
Obviously there are a lot of shooters out there, right? And they are competitors. But to be honest, today I think our biggest competitor with Payday 3 is Payday 2.
Yeah. Okay.
I do think so. There are heist games like you said. GTA Online is one of them. Crime Boss came out a couple of months ago.
Yes. I don't think you should worry about that.
No, I think we're okay. They've been doing some good stuff, though, I have to say. But Payday 2, again, it's super popular. It has more than 80 heists, 400 weapons, and now here we go.
Can I ask you, because you always talk about like online games and pay-as-a-service games, game-as-a-service games, and you have done it for so long. How do you keep a game fresh for so long?
It's a good question. I don't fucking know. It's just gut feeling. No.
So you're an interesting guy, because on the one hand you are a producer. You do the producing talk, but on the other hand you are a very relaxed guy.
Thank you. I try to keep it personal. I think. Like, one thing is, there is an advantage with the game because it has a very strong fantasy. Like, it's easy to grasp what it's about. Like, robbing banks with your friends, you don't get tired of it, and there is so much that you can do. It's not just banks and jewelry stores. I mean, we have maps where you're cooking meth in the woods, stuff like that. So there's a lot of things to explore, right? But apart from that, we managed to build a really dedicated and huge community, right? And working very closely with them. So they have a very big part in like why the game is still ticking and why we're still alive as a studio.
You said earlier that the one competitor is yourself. It's Payday 2, and the way to maybe try to get a big audience at the start is Game Pass, perhaps. Can you tell a little bit about why you choose Game Pass and why you choose Xbox as a partner, and what, because you're also out on other platforms, but Xbox specifically on Game Pass. Can you tell a little bit?
I'm laughing because I wasn't even really involved in that decision. I think it's a good decision. We've had a good relationship with them for a long time. And they've been helping out a lot as well in the development cycle, and they want to push the game, from a marketing point of view. So I think it just felt like a very natural decision for us. But it's more of a studio strategy thing.
We had Dino Patti on, the guy who did Limbo and Inside and lately Somerville, and he said regarding Inside that Phil Spencer himself called him one night and said, "I want that fucking game." More or less. Did he do that?
Maybe. I don't know. No, I'll find out.
But I think it helps out with the co-op aspect that it's available through Game Pass. So there's a lower barrier of entry for your friends to get them in. I think that's very promising for Payday. It is a game that you absolutely should be playing with your friends.
That's a good answer. That's my answer.
I'm doing your job.
What about the game? Like, what new features are we looking at in Payday 3?
So there's a lot, obviously. I think the most important thing to say is that when we started designing the game, we're always trying to look from the perspective of what can we add to the game to enhance what the fantasy is about, like increasing the feeling of being that criminal. Obviously you need to validate whether it's fun or not as well, right? But starting from that perspective. So for me personally, the things that I like the most as an addition in Payday 3 compared to Payday 2 is everything around hostage management. So grabbing people as human shields, you can trade them with the police during a negotiation to buy more time, you can trade them between assaults to get resources, you use them in objectives, throw them into retina scanners to open vaults, like that.
Can you tell about one of your own experiences, one of the craziest experiences you had in the game?
Holy shit. I have like 600 hours in the game now. There's a lot. I think I'll try to think of something very particular, but something that I like with the game is that Payday has always had like a barrier where like it's easy to pick up and just shoot a bunch of cops, right? But if you really want to understand its features and the synergy between mechanics and stuff, it takes a little bit of time. But once you get it, there is a magic there. And what we're seeing a lot is like, I saw that from the beta that we had a couple of weeks ago. People are doing things that I've never thought about myself, you know? And there's a lot of small things here and there that leads to very funny and creative situations. So like one example is we have a tool that is called micro camera. It's a very small camera that you can place on any surface. People in the beta started using it a lot to between their friends. So they were placing the camera on their teammate's ass, and that teammate, infiltrated the building, and he could look, he could cover his back, So he was marking cameras and guards behind him. And it's like, there's a guard coming up.
That's genius.
Yeah, it's super fun. It's super fun. So there's a lot of those moments that are. It just leads to very, very funny social interactions, and you can, like, we're taking the game very seriously, but you can mess around with a lot of things that I think it gives it a very personal touch that you're not seeing in a lot of co-op shooters out there today.
When I played the game, I got the impression that there's many different ways you can achieve your goals, right? So how much work went into creating an interesting sandbox which gives you a lot of replayability value also for...
We come from Denmark, right? And the biggest studio in Denmark is IO Interactive.
Yeah,
and they do the Hitman stuff.
Yes.
And you compared it
I think of it as Hitman, co-op Hitman, because it's exactly like Hitman. You have different scenarios, right? And you have a huge sandbox of different stuff you can do to achieve your goal.
We've looked at Hitman quite a lot. I think so. There is a state in the game when you don't have your mask on yet. We call it casing mode, and we refer to Hitman as casing the game. Because you're doing that a lot, right? You're just walking around, you're essentially acting as a civilian in disguise. So we wanted to take a part of that because that will make the game also feel a little bit more like Ocean's 11. So to your point, you have a lot of options in terms of how you want to infiltrate. You can do it stealth, you can do it loud. I think one really interesting part with Payday 3 is for some missions, you don't even have to put on your mask. Like really Ocean's 11 style. You're just walking in there, you pick up the bags of money, you walk out. It's very challenging, but it's a very strong fantasy. And then we have a new feature that we call security modifiers that also enhances the replayability. So when you're playing in stealth, depending on difficulty, you have modifiers to the heist. So one example is cameras are now indestructible. Or we spawn an extra guard that if you kill him, you have to answer his pager. It's a radio that you have to answer endlessly.
I saw this game mechanic to interact with the radio and go like, oh, everything's fine over here.
That's fine.
Exactly. So there's a lot of those as well, just to make sure that, because a big part of the game and the experience too is you have a plan, but we always want to trigger, those moments where there is some unpredictability to it, right? Because that's what you're seeing in heist movies as well. Everything goes south at some point, but you have a chance and a window of opportunity to de-escalate the situation. But those moments of panic, that's very important.
So this game is being developed in Unreal Engine 4, but you are doing it as...
We talked to the guys when I was playing the game. They said that at some point you would, with a free update, you would take the jump to UE5. And that to me sounds like a huge undertaking. How are you approaching this?
No, we're going from Unreal 4 back to the diesel engine that Payday 2 was developed in. No,
what the fuck?
You got me.
That's some Swedish humor.
No, yes we are. We haven't committed to a date yet, and there's a reason for it. So when we started the development of Payday 3, Unreal 5 wasn't really available, so we started in Unreal 4. Then during development, we started evaluating like, should we do the transition now? And essentially we outlined too many risks with the core product, and like the focus for us now has been, let's just provide a fun game. So we are working on doing that transition now, but it's a pretty steady and slow transition.
Sure.
And we don't want to, like, it's also important for us that we're using enough interesting features that improves the game. So it's not just an upgrade, like, hey guys, here's a huge download, oh, the game looks a little bit better. That's not the point. Like, it needs to bring something, right?
So you're obviously early in this phase. So
Shut the fuck up.
We haven't, so we're going to talk more about our live ops roadmap pretty soon.
Okay.
So I can't say anything yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But that is some of the stuff you want to use. Okay.
Yeah.
And what did you want to ask?
No, you did it.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
So I'm so sorry if this is already a feature in some of the earlier games. I don't remember, but I'm very interested right now in like creator economy. Like Fortnite is doing it, Roblox, creator economy, and I see Roblox and Fortnite doing it. Your game seems like a perfect fit for like people doing their own scenarios and uploading them to your servers and stuff like that. Is that something you're tinkering with or thinking about doing?
So modding in general is a very big part of Payday 2. Like, it's a huge part of the community. We don't have any modding available for launch for Payday 3, but it's something that we are very passionate about. But that's a similar situation to Unreal 5, where moving to Unreal, we saw a lot of challenges with allowing that, and we just didn't want to sacrifice the core experience from that. So it's something that we're investigating. We're going to talk more about it in the future. But my point is, being able to do those kinds of things, I think is a big part of the franchise. Whether it's creating heists, that might be too ambitious, at least to begin with, maybe further down the line.
The reason I'm also asking is because like Todd Howard and Starfield just announced that they are letting people design their own planets and scenarios in the system.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a fantastic way of getting closer to your community. I think it's great. Yeah. It's a very natural way for us as well to move into that direction, I think so.
And how long are you in development right now? Because it's launching in October, right? No, late September, sorry.
Yeah, we're launching in 1 month.
Yeah. So is there stress right now?
I'm pretty okay. So, yeah, I mean, I'm here.
But what about your team home in Sweden?
They're pretty okay too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're at Gamescom.
People are working really hard.
Yeah,
they are. Yeah.
Because the last couple of months always have to be a big push.
Yeah. And there is so many things like happening. You know, it's almost like the last 10% of a game is the 90%.
Yes.
Like there's like tying everything together. It's so much effort, but a lot of things are happening then as well.
Yeah.
But the team they're doing a fantastic job. I really think so, and they're working really hard.
So we are at Gamescom, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but do you get starstruck sometimes? Because there are a lot of famous developers walking around the hall. Have you met someone here at Gamescom that made the hair on your arms?
No, I haven't. Like, someone I would like to meet is Harada, the creator of Tekken.
Oh yeah.
And the reason for that is, I'm gonna sound narcissistic now. That's not the point. But he's a huge Payday fan. Like huge.
Yeah.
He's tweeting a lot about Payday. He mentioned in a tweet recently that his kids refer to him as a bank robber.
Yeah.
So, and this, to me, this is so fucked up, because when I was like 6-7 years old, Tekken was my favorite game. Yeah. I played the shit out of Tekken. I knew who he was back then.
Yeah.
And now he's playing the game that I'm working on, and that's really weird. So, yeah, I would like to say hello to that guy.
Yeah.
Were you an Eddie main?
Sorry?
Did you use Eddie all the time with?
Yeah, who do you play?
Oh, back in Tekken 3?
Yeah.
No. I played. Fuck. This is embarrassing.
Yeah, you are a huge Tekken fan, right?
So this is like 20 years ago.
We can cut this out.
No, but what's his name? The kung fu guy with who's a redhead.
Oh, you watch it?
No. See, you guys don't remember it.
We're not Tekken fans.
I'm not aiming to be Tekken.
No, I'm not saying anything.
What the fuck was his name? Do you remember? No? It does matter.
Yeah. Someone find out.
Check your phone.
Check your phone.
Yeah, redhead kung fu guy, Tekken.
Well, never mind.
Tekken 5 Kung Fu.
What is your favorite games besides Tekken?
Tekken is not my favorite game, but it's such a. These questions are so weird to me. Like when people ask, like, no, they're not weird, but they're so difficult to answer. It's like, oh, what's your favorite song or food? I'm like,
my favorite movie.
So,
right?
Yeah. I think so. You're right. Skyrim lives very close to my heart.
Yeah.
And a boring answer, but I think this is more nostalgia, and it shaped so much of my teenage years. It's WoW Vanilla.
What?
WoW Vanilla.
World of Warcraft Vanilla.
Did you play Horde or Alliance?
I started off with Horde. Yeah. I played Undead a lot, and then I became a trader because I wanted to experience the Alliance side. Because I also read that Blizzard, that they ended the development cycle with Horde. They put most effort into Alliance, so I wanted to see that. That's why Barons looks like it does. But it's fucking hilarious how iconic that zone became. Anyway, I don't know where.
Is this the guy?
That is the guy. Oh, Horang! Yes. Oh. Horang, that's the guy.
That's the perfect way to end our interview.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
When can people check Payday 3 out?
September 21st. And if you pre-order it, it's September 18th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And also available on Game Pass. And I as well think you should
Day
play.
one.
Day one, it's exciting.
Day one.
And on other platforms.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
We have turned to the Xbox side quite a bit. No.
I'm trying to reel people back in here.
Sorry. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
It's been a great honor.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Had a great time.
Yeah, this was fun.